One of the insights that I had as I was first an investment banker at Goldman Sachs was that there were various ways that companies were approaching bringing enterprise software into the industries that they served. And the idea and the insight was, well, why don't we bring together a group of standard insights or best practices, as we called them, and drive them into the operations of enterprise software companies. And the reason that became a quite an interesting opportunity at that time was there was now a separation of hardware and software. In the early days, hardware and software were sold as solutions. They then got separated, and you can now actually develop application software for specific industries at a much more rapid rate with a higher utility because it was focused on the actual dynamic in that industry and the workflows in that industry and had the ability to improve without having to make hardware improvements. And so Vista was founded on the principle that what we will do is identify enterprise software companies, bring a set of best practices to how you operate those businesses, the way you write the code, the way you support your customers, your go-to-market strategies, your back-office administration, and all of those components, and make it a much more efficient operating business. And so that was the thought. We have now brought to bear a tremendous amount of capital. We now have over $100 billion in assets under management. We today hold 90 software companies across 70 industries, and which, if you add it all up, it's a little over $32 billion in revenue, over 100, I think it's 120 plus thousand employees globally, operate in 180 countries, which makes us about the fourth or fifth largest enterprise software company on the planet. And so we have brought to bear the system, best practices, and over time that's evolved. In the early days, it was focusing on legacy on-premise enterprise software companies. Then there was emergence of hosted. Many of you know it as SaaS or a multi-tenant hosted environment or in the cloud. And so we built a factory at that time to migrate companies from legacy enterprise software companies to cloud. And I think have now converted more businesses from legacy to cloud than any institution on the planet with tremendous success. The beauty of technology is it is always changing, constantly changing. And so now we have this new technology, which we're going to spend a bit of time on today, called artificial intelligence or generative AI. And in our case, moving that towards agentic AI. And we've now built another factory to make those same sort of conversions. So that's the beauty, I call it the interesting part of our work. It is constantly evolving, and you have to constantly evolve your team and your infrastructure and your approach to adopting new technologies into your individual portfolio companies at scale, and the ability to do that globally is, I think, something we are positioning ourselves to be the best at.
So great. Thanks for introducing the next question then. So as we see development in artificial intelligence, AI, and many are calling this the most significant technological shift of our lifetime. Some even suggest that AI could eventually replace traditional software altogether. How do you view this evolution? And do you see AI as a complement software, a disruptor, or something entirely new?
It's a great question, and it's one that the world is asking. The world is asking very large software companies as well. I think to really understand where we are, we have to look a bit at the past to see how technology, in essence, starts to be adopted in various industries. The first thing to think about is every time there's a new technological innovation, for the most part, there are groups that capture economic value, economic rent, and typically, the first wave often goes to the hardware vendors.